similar utilized in different parts of studies also. The topic which I had chosen, that research and innovation. So there are certain publications, certain ranking agencies which are looking into the specific parts. So I'll be covering NAC. This is the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NIRF, National Institutional Ranking Framework. These both are part of Government of India. Parallelly, AICT has given an initiative in the name of Atal ranking of Institute on Innovation. Mr. Ritesh Kumar, can you keep on mute? I request all that participants also, please keep yourself on mute mode so that this would not disturb others to listen and should not create any echo while speaking. Thank you so much. So coming back to the content, that I'll be covering QS and Times Higher Education also, and different aspects which will help the peoples to support their career path. Parallelly, their career path will supplement to the organizations. Organizations will support to the state, and the state will support to the government of India. How it is so connected, why it is so necessary? Because government of India putting lots of effort to improve upon the research and innovation index of India. Reason being that India is improving day by day in innovations index. I'll show a video of a small 3 to 5 minutes that will let you know that where innovation is improving upon in India and why it is so necessary for a teacher to contribute to the society and to the government of India. Parallelly, that sustainable development goal, which is defined by UNO, which is a major task for the universities and HEIs to look into, because no sustainable goal will be achieved by any of the country until unless their universities and young professionals who are involved into the activity of educating each other are moving forward towards the sustainable development. So a small video for understanding where India is standing.
Our world has recently reached a high point for global innovation, making the world better for all of us. But will this continue? Or will the coronavirus pandemic freeze innovation finance and slow humanity's progress? The 2020 edition of the Global Innovation Index, or GII, addresses this urgent question and finds that the money to fund innovative ventures is drying up. The impact of this shortage will be uneven, with effects felt more heavily by young firms, R&D intensive startups, and in developing economies already facing a scarcity of innovation funding. Still, any crisis can bring creative disruption and opportunity. The COVID-19 pandemic has already led to new international research collaborations. It has stimulated interest for innovative solutions in healthcare, teleworking, education, e-commerce, mobility, and more. The GII 2020 also presents its annual ranking based on 80 innovation indicators. The top of the GII is still led by developed economies, with Switzerland, Sweden, and the US leading, followed by the UK and the Netherlands. China is an exception, and still the only middle-income economy in the GII top 30, ranking 14th for the second year in a row. The geography of innovation is continuing to shift towards Asia. And for the first time, a second Asian economy, the Republic of Korea, enters the top 10, alongside Singapore, which has been in the top 10 for the past decade. 4 countries have seen the most significant progress in their innovation ranking over the past 10 years: China, Vietnam, India, and the Philippines. The top economies in the Northern Africa and Western Asia region are Israel, Cyprus, and the United Arab Emirates. The Latin America and Caribbean region is led by Chile, Mexico, and Costa Rica. Topping the rankings for middle-income economies are China, Malaysia, and Bulgaria. Tanzania, Rwanda, and Nepal lead their income group. Innovation levels often reflect economic development, with developed countries typically having higher levels of innovation. However, this year there are 25 countries that outperform relative to their development, including Georgia, Jamaica, Thailand, Morocco, and South Africa. The African continent is growing in innovation importance. Out of 25 economies identified in the GII as outperformers, 8 are from sub-Saharan Africa, with South Africa, Kenya, and Rwanda topping this list. In Latin America and the Caribbean, Jamaica and Costa Rica are the leading outperforming countries. Innovation varies between nations, and it also concentrates in selected cities and regions. The GII 2020 identifies the world's top 100 clusters of science and technology. Tokyo-Yokohama is the top performing cluster, followed by Shenzhen, Hong Kong, Guangzhou, Seoul, Beijing, and San Jose, San Francisco, better known as Silicon Valley. The US continues to host the largest number of clusters, with 25, followed by China, Germany, and Japan. 6 middle-income economies host top 100 clusters: Brazil, China, India, Iran, Turkey, and the Russian Federation. As the world faces innovation uncertainty linked to the global pandemic, support needs to widen beyond the health sector. And government innovation expenditures should offset any falling private sector innovation funding. The GII 2020 calls on business and policy leaders around the world to sustain innovation for the benefit of everyone. Our work.
So coming next to the process, that is, we'll talk about the National Assessment and Accreditation Council's processes, what actually is required to do. A small portions I'll cover so that everybody will get to know that how that accreditations happens at NAC. So HEI registration is mandatory, then the institutions has to go for IIQA submissions. Once IIQA is processed, that takes 7 to 30 days of the times, depending upon the quality of IIQA and depending upon that documents being submitted by the HEIs. Then they are being given a time of 45 days to submit the SSR, that is self-study report of any institutions. There are different categories now, that general universities, dual mode universities, autonomous colleges, affiliated colleges. So different categories are being defined over there to submit the SSR, and the matrices will be calculated based on that. So SSR has 2 kind of matrices, that is quantitative matrix and the qualitative matrix. SSR will go for pre-qualifications that has some eligibility criteria, like you must be getting some grade points, which is supposed to be 1.5, or you can say 150 marks and above. That's a minimum requirement of the quantitative matrix to pre-qualify for the peer team visit to the institutions. And then peer team will visit, and SSRA qualitative assessment will be done by peer team. And then computer-based analysis will be done for SSR, QLM, and QNM, and the final grades will be declared upon reaching to the EC, General Council of NAC. So HEI, how they need to register, that HEI will fill the forms, HEI fills accreditation information, NAC verifies and approves. And then HEI activations of the login credentials, and HEI can access the portals upon approval of the processes. Then once the HEI registers, they'll go for IIQA. IIQA is a small information, like vice chancellors or a director or principal of the institute. And then IIQA, that IQAC coordinators details. And some information related to the students enrolled in the institutions, their 12B, 2F status of the institution, some statutory councils. If it is a college, the university approvals and other things is required to upload. And there is a fee that is 29,500 rupees to be paid as a part of IIQA fee. Once IIQA is submitted, NAC advises the persons deputed for the verifications. They verifies, and in case of any clarifications, they put the clarifications. Once the clarification is submitted by the institution, IIQA verifications are done and it gets accepted. Upon IIQA acceptance, that SSR data template will be provided to the institutions, and then they'll pay first installment of the SSRA, that SSR fee, and then there are certain non-applicables, or you can say matrices which is not applicable to the institutions, are opt-out matrix. Sometimes that NAC call it opt-out matrix, which is 3% for autonomous colleges, like 30 marks they can opt out. Wherever the data is bare minimum, they are thinking that these are the matrices where we will not be performing in well, they can go for opt-out matrix, and that will be deducted from numerator and denominator while calculations of the grade points. So there are three processes that parallelly which happens upon submissions of the SSR. DVB process, that will be done by NAC impaneled agency. SSS, that is Student Satisfaction Survey. The day SSR is submitted, student satisfaction survey goes to the students, and NAC asks the data for SSS by the institution in terms of a DVB, which requires at least 50% of the students' data to be provided to them through email, and an email logged feedback will be sent to the students. Based on that, it will be calculated. Parallelly, the data sent to the InflibNet for that publications data, which is very important, which is a major concern over here for me because of the topic research and innovations contributions. Because today, you can say in modern era, in the year 2020, most of the agency has started taking data. QS, Times Higher Education, NIRF, ARIA, NAC, everybody is getting data of publications from third party. And the publications data is more important because the right affiliations being used by the authors, their indexings, and specifically the data which is being taken into care by all ranking agencies, Web of Science and the Scopus. NAC takes care of UGC care list also, which is very flexible and keep on rotating because of some new journals are being added and some predatory journals are being removed by the UGC. So that publications data will be discussing in detail in the coming part. DVB processes, this is available. That's already I had discussed that in panel agency will look into. So I'm not going deep into that part. Just for information, you can see that deviations and then a report to query to HCI, then clarifications. And these are some first level, second level data informations which they'll be asking. Once the DVB is done, they'll go for initial survey. 30% students of the all programs would respond, that is a standard rate. And 10% are 100 for colleges and 500 for universities are minimum requirement for the student satisfaction survey, which they look into. So teacher's role is more important, being a mentor with the students, that what they are looking for. Next is the bibliometric data, which is more important here because of the research. That HEI details to InflibNet, they NAC or NIRF, they ask for provide the data or the nomenclature which is being used by different agencies to the InflibNet. InflibNet is a autonomous body being established by UGC, and the office is situated in Gujarat. So they takes care of all library related informations, as well as they provide a support for plagiarism kind of activities to the institutions to different agreements. And then HEI, InflibNet gives the informations to HEI as well as to NAC also for the details of publications, number of citations, and how many papers have been highly cited, like 25% of the papers or 5% of the papers. That kind of information is given back to the HEIs. And then HEIs are required to verify that information. If a small variations is there, that is requested by these agencies that small variations should not be reported back. But in case of any major deviations, which is leading to the change in marks, that can be reported to the NAC so that corrective actions can be taken. Then qualitative and metrics are being calculated, and then peer teams visit is being constituted. The benefit I'll be talking about the eligibility of assessment for the universities. Universities and nationally important institutions are being provided facilities to go over there, provided these institutions have regular students enrolled for full-time teaching and research programs offered by them on campus, provided they duly establish campuses within the country, and if treated as a part of the university institutions as a assessment and accreditation processes. Autonomous colleges, they also have certain requirements that at least 2 batches are being passed, and the college institutions are not affiliated to the university, are offering programs recognized by statutory councils, have not recognized by the Indian universities, or such requirements are equivalent degree programs. So these are the minimum requirements of the colleges to process for that. Now we'll come to the part distribution of metrics and key indicators. So I have tabulated, and this information has been taken by the manual published by NAC on the website. There are 7 criteria, which is equal for universities and the autonomous colleges, and parallelly affiliated and constituent colleges also. So everywhere every institutions or every HEI has to follow all 7 criteria, and there are key indicators which are measure focus, or you can say sub portions of this qualitative matrices. So this is also similar and highest in universities and autonomous colleges, that is 34. Affiliated and constituent colleges, it is 31 and 32. For if a college is offering only 31 and that UG programs, they are being given a key indicator 31, and if they are also offering UG plus PG programs, there is certain other requirements which they have to fill and go forward. Then qualitative metrics, 36 for universities, 35 for autonomous colleges, 35 for UG affiliated constituent colleges, and 36 for UG/PG constituent colleges. Quantitative matrices, which is very important and plays an important role because this is entirely being monitored by technology, and the entire computations is being done by the technologies only. So the major part to look into in any accreditation process is a quantitative metrics. So this is 79 for universities, 72 for autonomous colleges. In case of affiliated colleges, it's quite low, only 58 and 60, because in research categories, there are certain parameters which is relaxed for the university, that affiliated colleges in comparison to the universities. So there is a chart, criteria one. Criteria one, if you look into, small comparison will happen over there, because in case of universities and autonomous colleges, because they are supposed to design the curriculum and go for different parts like academic flexibility, value-added courses, and other things to be implemented. And they are empowered to approve all these syllabus, other courses through their board of studies and academic councils. So there are 50 marks for each autonomous colleges and universities in curriculum design and development. While if you look at that affiliated and constituent colleges, because they are only supposed to do for the curriculum planning and implementation, because syllabus is being designed by the affiliating universities, and that is being executed and passed by their board of studies and academic council. So affiliated colleges are being given 20 marks only, because they are not supposed to design the syllabus. They have to go for planning and implementation first. But if you look at the same channel, when we come to downwards, the things are moving in a different way, because academic flexibility, 50 marks for universities, 40 marks for autonomous colleges, but here 30 marks for affiliated colleges and affiliated PG colleges. Curriculum enrichment, which is more important, 30 marks for universities, but in case of autonomous colleges, it's 40. So if you look at that criteria, one is being given 150 marks together, including 50 marks academic flexibility, 30 marks curriculum enrichment, 20 marks feedback analysis. Similarly, autonomous colleges 150, but in case of UG and PG affiliated college, it's coming 100 marks only. So in that case, there are certain relaxations to the universities in terms of curriculum enrichment and feedback systems. But parallelly, if you look at the affiliated colleges, there are only 100 marks. So they have to look for different aspects in other criteria also, because that it might be increasing. The same thing is happening over here. I just talked that that might be increasing. So this is increasing. in teaching, learning, and evaluations, which is more important for autonomous colleges, which are offering UG and PG programs. So it's 350 marks for UG colleges, 350 marks PG colleges, and 200 for universities and 300 for autonomous colleges, because universities will again have to perform in research, so that marks will be compensated over there. I'll not go into detail because this is not a focus point, but still teachers are more important, because only teachers are the key stakeholders which will be contributing into the research part of the universities, and their experience values a lot. And examination process and other things are there that will continue. The major focus of the talk is research and innovations. Here also I'll exclude extension part, because extension is one thing which is again different activities, but we'll cover the parts from 3.1 to 3.5, which is promotion of research and facilities till consultancy projects. What are the applications and what are applicable things for the universities and the colleges. In case of universities, all things are important. Everybody has to contribute into the system. And promotion of research and the facilities, 20 marks for them. But parallelly for UG, PG, autonomous colleges, they are exempted for this part, because they are not required to establish any policies for the promotion of the research. And they are not supposed to provide the seed money, which is coming into 3.1.2. So these are some points which is exempted for them. But the resource mobilizations for the research is quite important, like government funding, non-government funding, and the recognitions of the departments, how many departments are recognized by Government of India. That is more important to look into here in 3.2. So 15 marks are allocated for UG, PG colleges and 20 marks for the universities. Innovation ecosystems, where the number of seminars, workshops, and the awards being given to the students, teachers are coming into this part, innovation and ecosystem. So for UG college, it is exempted, but for PG colleges, innovation ecosystem is applicable, 10 marks. Research publications, which is very important part for the faculties, and their contribution is more important. So this is 100 marks altogether for universities. It might be standalone universities, general universities, dual mode universities. Dual mode universities means the universities which are offering regular courses as well as online or distance learning courses. So they are given a flexibility. They can go either in general mode or can go in dual mode also for the accreditations. So the criteria is quite different, and some matrices are different into general and dual mode. So that's why the kind of flexibility has been given by the NAC to the participating HEIs to look into the betterment of their data. But research publications is quite important for UG colleges as well as PG colleges, because 15 marks for UG colleges. And if any affiliated college is having PG departments also, they will be competing for 25 marks. And this 25 marks cumulated with that while calculation of CGPA, that will be cumulated with the grade points. Grade points are from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that 5 grade points are being given. 0 means it's a rare that in any of the cases they provide 0, but 1 to 4 grade points are being given. Based on that, the CGPA of any institutions are being calculated. Extension activities, it is an activity which is important for NCC, NSS, and Red Cross or Youth Brigade, which is available in the institutions. So here the colleges comes into the pictures, and they are required to perform much better, because many affiliated colleges and the autonomous colleges as well as affiliated PG colleges are supposed to be having the NCC units, NSS units, and their youth brigades available into the systems. So their activities, their awards, and their participations are more important, and NAC looks into that part. And the collaborations, which is quite different, and there are some benchmarkings which is supposed to be available. So collaboration is again one important ask, because NAC also asks for that collaborations, times higher education's impact ranking. They also look for SDG 7 sustainable development goal, that is partnerships for the goals, which is important sustainable development goal for which entire globe is looking forward, and different continents are collaborating with the different universities and different industries. So that is also a good part here. The collaboration with the industries, collaborations with the NGOs, collaborations with the HEIs are coming into that pictures. For that, you can get marks as a accreditation. Infrastructure, it is all same for everybody. Student support and progressions, it is a bit high, because student support and progression is one aspect where UG and PG colleges are more important, and to look into that. So student support, where scholarship to the students, their career counseling, progressions to the higher studies, progressions to the placements. If somebody is gone for entrepreneurships or something like that, that is also coming into the picture. Student participations and their activities. This is an activities where every students, like students club, student societies, or anything is there, their activities will come into this pictures, this metrics, this key indicators, which is more important, because 50 marks for UG colleges and 45 marks for PG colleges. So this criteria 5 for any institutions, which is UG colleges, will give how much focus of that college has been deputed for holistic development of any student. So looking at that grade points of any institutions for that part, different agencies analyzes, and they come into the informations that these are the colleges which are having holistic developments based on the marks which is being given to them. And after all, at last, in criteria 5, alumni engagement, which is quite important. How many chapters of the alumni is available, how many talks are being available, and what the alumni is giving back to the universities or the institutions. This is also coming into the picture over here. Governance and leadership, 100 marks. Institutional vision missions, which is important to keep ready. Strategy deployment, faculty empowerment, and strategies, faculty support. Here, the main important thing which I would like to mention, that internal quality assurance cell, which is supposed to be very strong backbone of any institutions, because quality assurance is an aspect which is not being built up in a single day, which requires a continuous improvement process, and that requires the support of all the teachers to look into, and they must be continuously providing the support to the teacher and that management to the students as well. But at the back, if IQAC and the teachers are very strong, 6.2 and 6.3, faculty empowerment is one aspect where the percentage of faculty are being asked whether they are participating or not. The fund is not matter, or that fund is not being looked into, because every HEI is having different budgeting processes and different value funds depending upon the strength of the students and the strength of the faculty. But the more important point, which is supposed to be focused over here in 6.3, is that how many teachers are being provided the support, the percentage of teachers being provided the support, percentage of training programs being done for the teachers, and number of face-to-face online FDPs being attended by the teachers. So this is more important aspects, where number of teachers are more important than the activity being organized or the fund being invested on them. Criteria number 7, institutional values and best practices, which is entirely an indicator which gives what institution is having as a institutional values and social responsibilities. The corporate social responsibility everybody does, but there are certain things like solar power plants, biogas plants, if you are having pathways, ban of plastics. So different aspects, sewage treatment plants, and you having something which is all-weather path, which AICT also has well approval processes that all-weather paths are available or not. So these are the things which comes into the 7.1, and 7.2 is the best practices which institutions is required to disclose, and they have to prove that these are the best practices which they are doing, and that has value additions or impact on the society. And then institutional distinctiveness, which is having 20 marks for everybody, whether it is universities or autonomous institutions. So the institution has to provide some information how they are distinct with different institutions, or what are the different things which they think that is a strong point into their organizations. So these are the some great points of NAC. NAC is giving from C to A++. And what is the benefit of this? I'll explain you into the next slide. But before that, let me go what is important. Some of the institutions which are B++, 2.76 to 3, 3.01 to 3.25 is the A grade, 3.26 to 3.5 is a A+, 3.51 to 4 is a A++. And A++, only 5% of the institutions are having A++ grade in India so far. And it's not a very difficult task to get A++ or A+, but it is more important that once you are accredited, you will have certain windows which is open. Being A grade, A+ grade, A++ grade, you are being given a graded autonomy to start anything. Like in last 2 years, AICT has started giving approvals to the institutions without inspections or any inspections which is supposed to do. If an institution is having A+, A++ grade, they are not required to go for physical visit of AICT, that directly any course is being applied and they are having zero deficiency on the portals, they'll be given the approvals. Coming to the universities, what is graded autonomy for universities by UGC, University Grant Commissions, New Delhi? They notified Gazette documents on 12th February 2018 that definitions of the graded autonomy. The category 1 universities, which are universities shall be in category 1 if they are NAC accredited 3.1 and above, it means 3.5 to 4. It received a corresponding accreditation grade scores of a reputed accreditation agency impaneled by UGC. It has been among top 500 in world university rankings such as Times Higher Education and QS. So I'll be covering Times Higher Education and QS also. What are the key indicators which we require if we are willing to participate into that? Category 2 universities, they are 3.26 to 3.5. And then category 3 universities which are not coming into 1 and 2, they'll be set or they'll be fall into the category 3 universities. Category 1 universities, they are empowered enough to start any offshore campuses. They can start any online courses. They can go any kind of approvals or processes. They are not required to go for a regularized approval. Straightforward, they can start any kind of courses. Only part they have to intimate or they have to provide information to the UGC. Similarly, that category 2 universities, they can also start, but there are restrictions that they only can start 3 to 5 offshore campuses, depending upon the quality and the other things. And online programs, they are also required to participate and they can start. One more important aspect which comes over here is a Study in India program, which is a great initiative by Government of India, where they publicize your informations on their website and attract the students from foreign nationals to come to the India and study in India, so that the graded autonomy institutions or the institutions of very high repute can be given the international exposures, because international students or international faculty is one aspect where QS, Crowley Simons, British company, which goes into the ranking of the Times Higher Education, they look into the aspects what actually is happening. So major points related to the research, because I believe that most of the participants are from affiliating colleges or the technical colleges. So if they are willing to go for NAC, these are the research points which are very important for them to understand, because the contribution of every teacher is important into the vision building of the institutions. And if institutions is strong, their teachers would be strong. So both way, it's a combination that you support the institution will support you, because your publications, your patenting facilities, your IPR will create a reputations to the organizations. And once any organization is reputed, they'll attract the students, and the parallel, if the students are there, everybody will have a chance to teach them and provide them good information related to the academics. So there are certain points: 3.11, 3.12, 3.13, 3.21, 3.22, and 3.3.2. These points are quantitative metrics, which is more important, and one point which is qualitative, 3.3.1, extension activities carried out in the neighborhood communities, sensitizing students on social issues for their holistic developments and impact thereof during last 5 years. So this is one aspect which is coming into the extension, and the rest of the things, which is very important for a teachers, if they are having a good number of research papers, they are the research papers are visible, because many of the institutions are having good publications, but they are not being cited. Citation is one aspect which is also being taken care. So if they are not having the citations, they'll not be getting a high marks into the accreditations or the ranking processes. And for citations, getting a citations, it is very important that your publication should be visible to the people. So it is recommended that any teacher which is willing to publish, keen to publish the research papers and want to be in the domain of research and very enthusiastic for teaching and learning part, as well as doing research activities like patenting and publishing research in Scopus and Web of Science. My recommendations would be go for publications, put all these things on your Google Scholar account. And if any research journal is in open access, that will all automatically indexed over there, and that can be attached to that. In some of the cases, some of the journals allows you to share your article on your own internal circulations. So for your internal circulations, any reprint which you got can be put on your own LMS or your own websites, so that your institutions can be benefited, and that can give a partial visibility to the authors, at least in the same institutions, without breaching the policy of redistributions of the published articles of reputed publishing houses like Elsevier, Science Research, and Science Direct domains also. So 311, I'm talking about that grant received from government and non-government agencies for research projects, endowments in the institutions during last 5 years. They look into that data, and the analysis will be done for the institutions, that how many crores or how many projects has been taken care by the institutions. Percentage of departments, which I was earlier talking, percentage of departments having research projects funded by the government of India and non-government agencies during last 5 years. Parallelly, percentage of departments having research projects funded by government and non-government agencies during last 5 years. So these are the things which is quite important. I think by mistakes, there is a repeat 3.12 has been written 2 times. 3.21, that is number of papers published by the teachers in the journals notified on UGC website during last 5 years. It is specifically for autonomous, not autonomous, that affiliated and constituent colleges, not for the universities. In case of universities, it's exhaustive list which they look into Scopus, Web of Science, and different other web portals also. Number of books and chapters edited, volumes, books published, and paper published in national, international journals. That is also one thing which is they look into, and different marks are being awarded to them. Next is 3.2.2, awards of the recognitions received and extension activities for government and government recognized body. So this was all about the research which is benefiting you in NAC accreditations. If any questions related to NAC, I'll be happy and.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Just I was trying to complete my question, that clarifications. In case of any questions, you can type in the chat box, which Dr. Gog is available. He'll be helping me to get those questions into details, and I'll be giving answer for that. And now I'll move for the NIRF ranking, which is another aspect where most of the institutions are being ranked, because nowadays NIRF has started 200 institutions giving ranking in engineering categories, and till 100 in different other categories also. So I'll cover NIRF, then I'll go for Atal Innovations rankings, and then some portions of QS and Times Higher Educations and Sustainable Development Goal. Then I'll be coming back to the questions. So NIRF, there are 5 parameters which NIRF take into account, and that declares the India rankings So these are the parameters which I have taken from an IRF. And an IRF was started in 2016, and it's going to be a 5th year. They'll be announcing another set of rankings available over here. So these are major points which they look into. Teaching learning, they have given 30% of the weightage, research and professional practice 30% of the weightage, graduation outcome 20% of the weightage, and outreach of inclusivity of any institutions is 10%, and the perception is being done by the employer and academic peers by the NAC, that NIRF. They ask for the data every time they collect the information of the academic peers and the employers, and they send them an independent survey for all institutions who are registered and willing to participate into them. So NIRF, I'll only look for criteria 2, which is research and professional practice. Research and professional practice, which is having a 30% of the weightage, which requires combined metrics for the publications, university publications, 35 marks. Combined metrics for quality publications, where that citations and citations in top cited journals, and then IPR and patents. Previously, they were also giving marks for applied, but since the data was not being available on public platforms, that how many patents have been applied by any institutions, because there is no information available on internet or with the third party. That's why they removed that part. So in India ranking 2020, from previous 2 years, they had started only published and the granted IPRs, the patents will be taken into considerations. For that, they are giving 15 marks. Footprints of projects and professional practices, where your consultancy, executive development programs, sponsored research by government agencies, excluding capacity building projects, which is claimed by many institutions. So they take into account. So this is for overall, that is university, and overall they take into account. Now I'm coming to the engineering aspect, because what I believe that since it is an AICT program, so many of the engineering institutions and their faculty might be participating. So for engineering, again, that research and professional practices would be 30%, but there are certain rearrangements into the parameters. That combined metrics for the publications, they are being given 35 marks. Combined metrics for quality of publications, they provide 40 marks. So here it is being increased a bit, 5 marks, I believe. IPR patents published and granted, 15 marks. Footprints of the projects and professional practices of 10 marks. So there are certain things which is quite important, and we will go for a data analysis, which we taken from the reports published by NIRF, that how many institutions and what is the importance of research and publications into the rankings, specifically in case of engineering or in case of university as overall. Because the publication is one thing which is always being taken by NIRF from third party, and the third party provides the informations based on the affiliations, based on the data available in public platforms, and being indexed in Scopus and Web of Science. Because there are so many predatory journals which are claiming that they are in the indexing list of the Scopus and Web of Science, but they are not available in fact. So these are some aspects which we'll cover. So let's go to the analysis part, what NIRF says, that how many institutions are being ranked if they are publishing better way. So based on the NIRF analysis, there were approximately 3,771 institutions who had submitted their data, though there were 4,401 institutions who got registered, but some has not submitted the data. Reason why is the participation of the institutions in India ranking 2020. You can see there are so many institutions, specifically South has the highest number of overall participations into the category. From South region, 2,706 institutions are participating, and then the count comes to the North, that is 796. But if we look at the engineering part, West is the second leading region, that is 277 engineering institutions are participating. And then overall, it's coming East, which has 709 participations. But in engineering, from East, we are having only 98 institutions on participation. And parallelly, they are having pharma, architecture, autonomous colleges. Autonomous colleges means the science and arts colleges which are affiliated with the universities. Before we go for publications, we have to look into the aspects that what is the strength and what are the probable teachers who are going for the publication parts. So faculty with PhD versus faculty with master's degree and experience profile for eligible NIRF institutions are being tabulated over here. So we can look that 36.12% of the PhD faculties are available into the institutions who are participating as overall into the part. And 63.88% institutions are still having, the institutions are having 63.88%. This is the average number being taken care by all institutions who had participated in NIRF. So 63.88% of faculty members are having only master's degree. Parallelly, if you go for the experience, so up to 8 years of the experience, there are 41.27% of the faculty members who are up to 8 years of the experience. And if you go for faculty with experience of 8 to 15 years of experience, 30.92. Faculty with 15 or more years of experience, it's at 27.82%. So this is a overall analysis being taken by NIRF chart or NIRF reports. Then coming to the faculty students ratio, this ratio is only for engineering institutions because AICT has given faculty students ratio regulations to the institutions. So if you look at the faculty range 1 to 10, there are only 1 institutions. 11 to 20 faculty range, there are 346 institutions, or 34.36% of the institutions are having. 21 to 30 faculty range. This faculty range means that faculty student ratio which is available over here. And then 31 to 40% and 41 to 50%, there are 3%. So if you look at the 21 to 50, there are 51, 11, and 3. Approximately 60%, you can say, we can say 65% of that institutions are having faculty from the range 21 to 30, which is a major concern for the institutions to look into, because here the quality comes that how an institutions can go upon. And it is also important that the teachers who are duly qualified and they fulfill the all set of qualifications being let down by different agencies to teach the institutions. Research publications of top 100 institutions as compared to the rest of the eligible institutions in various domains and categories. So there were 955 institutions in overall category, 273 universities, 1,007 engineering institutes, 579 management, 319 pharmacy colleges, and 1,036 colleges in autonomous or affiliated colleges offering traditional courses like BCom, BBA, and BSc. So total number of publications, if you look into by the institutions who are eligible, and publications of top 100 institutions. So you can see that top 100 institutions are 70% of the publications are coming only from top 100 institutions in overall. 77% in the universities are coming from the institutions who are into the list of top 100. 69%, 69.52% of the publications are coming from top 100 engineering institutes. 89% of the top 100 institutes are contributing in the management category. 79.36% of the publications are coming from top 100 institutes ranked in pharmacy category. So this is an indicator that remaining institutions you can see with the graphs. So this is a thing that if you look at that opposite aspects are that if I talk the statement in a reverse way, that the number of institutions who are having highest number of publications, they are being ranked above, or you can say easily they are in the top 100. So if you have to get a ranking in top 100 institutes in engineering, you have to work specifically for publications, which is more important because the realistic data we can see, which is quite important to understand what is happening. So average number of applications of the institutes is also being given over there, that in the university, 300 publications are being done by a university. I'll also showcase some of the data which is very alarming, because there are certain institutions or certain number of universities which has zero publications also, which is very alarming. So this is what we had compared with the domain-wise category. The red mark is the top 100, and the gray one is the remaining institutions which are not into the top 100 categories. So you can say, you can see that the clear difference. If you want to be ranked, you want to be the listed in a reputed institutions or reputed HEIs in India, the only way to get a highest marks is a go for good quality publications. And if good quality publications are available, obviously you will be listed in top 100. And then coming to the citations, that highly citations publications of top 100 institutions as compared to the rest of the eligible institutions in various categories and the disciplines. So overall, again, 76% of the citations are coming from top 100 institutions. 80% of the universities are giving the citations and are being listed in top 100 institutions. In engineering category, 78%, 79% rather, are citations are coming from the institutions who are in the category of top 100 institutions. And the management and the pharmacy is very, very highly notable, that 92 and 93% of the publications are being cited by only top 100 institutions. And this is a graph, again, we compared based on the data available. So the overall outcome that Indian shares, the overall world publications is about 4.33%. In the management disciplines, the share falls to about 3.27%. 70.6% of the scholarly output from the India comes from NIRF eligible applicants from overall category. In fact, it can be safely concluded that this would be close to, if not equal to the total scholarly output of the academic world in India. So in engineering discipline, India contributes to the world publication of 6.62%, higher by more than 2% than the overall categories. 83.44 publications on engineering disciplines comes from NIRF eligible institutions only. So this is what we compared with the world analysis. You can see clearly that the publications which is coming from world and the publications here which is being done by India, because India is always leading, but China and some other countries are more, because US is on number one and China leads to that, the number of contributions into the IPR and the publications. So leaving that part, improving upon at country level and the contributions into the world level, that India is performing well and giving some stats of the improvements year by year. But there are certain aspects which I'll not cover into that, because that is also alarming. What kind of publications and what quality of publications are being done, that is another aspect to look into, because the quality of PhDs are the quality of research scholars coming into the pictures, and the quality of journals publishing. That is also a major concern, but since that is not a part of discussions at this point of time, so I'll not touch upon that part, but still that is a major concern to look into. So India is giving 4.33% in overall, 6.62% in engineering, and 3.27% in management, and 5.52% in pharmacy categories. So out of that, eligible institutions are giving 71%, 83%, 65%, and the 42% parallelly. So this is also a notable part that which is directly correlating, that if you are doing something in a better way, that would be in terms of research and publications, that would lead in a brand building of your institute. So this was what I tried to show you a graph on logarithmic scales so that the same data is available and you can compare that where actually the Indian research landscape is spreading out. Now coming to the aspects which is very alarming, that number and percentage of NIRF eligible applicants having zero publications. They might be having publications which is very less, but that has gone to zero because of lapse at the level of using correct affiliations, correct nomenclatures, or change of the campuses. That kind of things might be there. That's why they have been reported zero publications. But still, it is alarming that 955 institutions participated in overall category, and they might be institutions of national importance, centrally funded private universities. Out of these 955, 72% of the institutions are having zero publications. In engineering, 67 institutions are having zero publications. Management category, 579 participated, and unfortunately the highest number, that 63.56%, 368 number of institutions are having zero publications. Pharmacy colleges, there are 49 pharmacy colleges. They might be having only UG programs at their levels, less number of students at the teachers. But whatever reasons, they are having zero publications, and these are in numbers, the number of institutions which are having zero publications in pharmacy categories are 49. And there are colleges also, on the traditional colleges, they are in 329 in numbers, they have zero publication, which has been reported by Inflibnet so far. So share of publications from top 100 highly productive engineering institutions, category-wise institutions data we had taken from there. So if you look at that publications numbers, central universities publishes 1.83% of the shares. Engineering colleges are publishing 6.83%, deemed university 21%, IITs 36%, NITs 18%, centrally funded other institutions 2%, private universities 3.31%, state universities 9.71%. So this is a stats which is also giving an indication that which kind of institutions are required to be more focused for the publication. And this is the reason if you look that if IITs are in top 100 list, they are supposed to be. Reason being that most of the research outputs or the contributions are being provided by them. There might be a reason also because they are being funded by the government of India for each and every project, but still we have to think of that publications are good in numbers from IITs. So here are publications from top 100 cited and productive engineering institutions. So this is a pie chart which we took from that data which is previously shown. Next, coming to that part, institutions number of publications in engineering, coming back to engineering and overall. So in engineering, if we look at that NIRF eligible institutions in engineering are having 83.44% of the shares. Comparatively, other institutions, other engineering institutions which are not coming into the ranking or which are not being ranked into that part. Comparative research publications of the world, India and NIRF eligible applicants in overall category. So there are, if you look at the data, number of eligible institutions, NIRF eligible institutions in India ranking 2020. So the graph is a bit with the NIRF eligible institutions are approaching towards the India one, and India, no doubt, they'll also improving upon and they'll compete with the world also in coming years. By 2030, it is believed that India would give a remarkable benchmarking and research output in terms of competing with the world. Increase in the number of PhD graduated during academic year. Why I am showcasing this data? Because number of PhDs are increasing, number of research papers are increasing, but still the quality of the PhD and the quality of the publication is still a concern for Indian universities. What is happening? So this is the data that in 2017, 23% increase has been reported, and then 2018-19, 11.87% of the PhDs are being reported as an increase. So this was all about NIRF, and then we'll go for Atal ranking for institution of innovative achievements. Here also, just only one point I'll cover because it is entirely based on the entrepreneurship data. Budgeting of the institutions and different categories has been given by uh, AICTR Innovation Cell of Ministry of Education now. For technical and non-technical institutions, and then also private, state government colleges, and the colleges, different categories are coming. So the only point which is major concern is that 100 marks is being provided for any institution to be ranked in Atal Innovation ranking. Then out of that 100, if a technical institutions are there, approximately 19 marks, I'm talking about the point number 7, that 19 marks will be given for intellectual property generation and commercialization of the IP research publications, which is again will be taken by third party and Inflibnet, and they'll be providing the data for that. Next, coming to the QS World University ranking. QS World University ranking is a ranking where still there is a fight that only few institutions are coming into top 200 in the list. Previously, it was very difficult to come into top 200 list also in QS World University ranking. So we are quite fortunate being Chitkara University. We are being featured in Asian ranking, but it's still a long way to go because always there is a scope of improvement. So we also work upon the improvement and look into that what kind of improvements can be there to improve the quality and to improve the brand building of organizations as well. So there is one aspect which is academic reputations in QS World University ranking. 40% of the marks are being given for the academic reputations. What they do a survey, QS academic survey, which is being circulated to the partners, and for that they'll be asking to the participating institutions 400 academic and 400 employer database. So the academic database which will be provided by the institutions, they'll be sending an academic survey. There might be a set of 20-25 questions. The respondent to respond that, and based on that the academic reputations of your college will be built up. And then second comes the employer reputations, which is 10% of marks is being given to the employer reputation. Again, the data is being asked by the different participating agencies that how many employers are coming and what are their email IDs and the contact numbers. They also send the QS employer survey to those participating institutions. So 400 each institutions they are asking, and the approximately 2,000 institutions participates every year, 2,000 plus institutions. So they have the database of 94,000 academicians and 45,000 employers into their database, and they send to everybody, and based on that responses, they provide the marks of your academic reputations and the employer reputations, which is 50% of the entire part. So many of the IITs also seeks that kind of information, and they are also fighting to get good academic reputation and employer reputations in QS World University. And then the point number third, that is student faculty ratios. 20% marks are being dedicated to that. This data they ask from the institutions through their QS Hub database. There are well-defined portals where they'll be asking you a data for the students of STEM, non-STEM, and then how many PhDs are available, how many UG students, how many PG students. This kind of data is being asked, and how many got placed, how many got for entrepreneurships. Based on that, the calculations goes for the quality parts into that. And then fourth and fifth, which is very important, because the fourth is the citations per faculty. So not only here in NAC, NIRF, everywhere, wherever the count is being calculated, because many universities who report that they have good number of publications, 2,000 plus publications, but when it comes to the faculty publications count per faculty, or citations per faculty, this is very, very low. And many institutions look into that part, that how to improve that citations and other things. Then international faculty ratio and international student ratio. This is also an aspect which is very important. International faculty ratio and international student ratio. International faculty ratio and international student ratio is 5%. So world-class universities attracts both students and teachers. That 5% of the teachers are if available with the institutions having participation into QS World University ranking, and 5% of the students. So they are the that are the benchmarking for the institutions participating into that category. An Indian domain of QS is a QS IGAS, which has different categories, 7 criteria they give. And this is an easy way because this is not a ranking, it is a rating parts which QS IGAS used to give to the institutions. So there are 7 criteria and 6 advanced criteria which the institutions looks into. So there are 7 core criteria which you can see: the teaching, learning, faculty quality, employability, diversity and accessibility, facilities, social responsibilities, governance and structures. And there are 2 advanced criteria. There are which you can select upon, but research is mandatory for universities, and any 2 like innovations, international relations, academic development, entrepreneurships, art and cultures can be taken by you. So we had participated. Based on the experience, I can tell you that uh, getting a certificate from QS IGAS is very important because that gives you a fact sheet and data insights that how you can improve upon different aspects and what are the key indicators where you work upon, so that in coming futures you can be a good institutions to be ranked in world reputed rankings also. We participated last year and become the first university in India to get platinum rating so far. And after us, BITS Pilani got the platinum rating. And we both the universities are listed. The more informations can be taken from QSIGA's website. Times Higher Education. This is again reputed ranking agencies, which is recognized by university grant commissions as well as Ministry of Education for giving a graded autonomy for the institutions offering higher education in India. So there are 13 individual pillars of this ranking. And let me remind you that in Times Higher Education's World University ranking is still a long way to go, because no Indian universities or HEIs are being featured so far in top 200 list into the Times World University ranking. As see, Bangalore starts getting ranked from 201 itself. So again, there are 13 pillars in World University ranking. Teaching, the learning environment, 30% marks, which contains 15% of the reputation survey, which is again being done on the same pattern which QS also does. So QS and Times Higher Education, at some point of time, they were the partners, but now they are having different path and rankings. And 20 years, more than 20 years, they had completed into that rankings, and they had created their very strong reputations in the world. And many universities are collaborating. Many universities are taking into that part. So coming to the research, research is having 30% of the weightage, where 18% of the reputation surveys is being done, 6% of the research outcome or the research income, you can say, the sponsored research by government, non-government funding agencies, and the research productivity like tech commercializations, IP, and other things. And then again, industry income and international outlook is one part. But the most important part is the citations, that research influence, how many papers are being cited by different authors across the world. Next, there is a Times Education Impact Ranking. Dr. Garg, do we have some time? Should I conclude? Okay, not an issue. I'll move a bit fast into that part, because sustainable development goal is one aspect which is being taken care by many universities across the world, and Australia is number one now to look into. And this year, that ranking has given very strong insights where many institutions are being ranked over here. Only few institutions from India are being featured into Times Higher Education's Impact Ranking 2021. And we are quite fortunate that Chitkara University participated in 12 of the SDGs, because we are publishing a report on sustainable development goal and rigorously working for achieving the sustainable development goal through UNDP Punjab division. So there are 17 goals which also requires a special attention, and I do request all the researchers to support the Indian government while giving a key words to their publications also, so that Indian research must be given a weightage in Elsevier's database for sustainable development. So SDG 1, that is Sustainable Development Goal 1, no poverty. Overall publications in the period has been 11,323. 62.4% publications from high income locations, 2.1 publications from low income locations, and 25.9% publications from international collaborations. So where the picture comes that international collaborations is more important. If you are publishing any papers which is in collaboration with the foreign universities or in collaborations with the institutions across the globe, that will help you in creating the not only the creating a good visibility, good citations, to help you in making a good reputations in the world. So top 10 locations, they are United States, UK, China, and then fourth is India. That top 10 locations by publication. So India is at the fourth positions. You can see if my cursor is available, this is the fourth positions which is provided to the India. Still there is a far way to go to get the publications done. Sustainable Development Goal 2, Zero Hunger, that is 93,390 publications has been done so far. 55.1% publications from high income locations, 2% publications from low income locations, 11.2% publications from international collaborations are being done so far. In this category, Sustainable Development Goal, India is at third positions. You can see from the top 10 publications by locations. So this is also one aspect which we look into, and we must think of that there is a possibility that we must improve upon. Coming to the Sustainable Development Goal, that is good health and well-being, a good number of publications are being published, but if you look at that, 74.6% publications are being done by high income locations only. India is at 9th positions into this part. If you look at that top 10 locations, the top 10 publications by locations for Sustainable Development Goal number 3. Sustainable Development Goal, quality educations. Still, there are a limited number of publications as compared to that Sustainable Development Goal number 3. Only 25,500 publications has been done during the period which they had taken. That 3 years data are being accumulated over here. So 70% are, rather 71% publications are coming from high income locations. 15.6% locations are publications are coming from international collaborations. And the remarkable that major concern is that from low income locations, only 0.5% publications are coming. And unfortunately, here, India is missing in top 10 list. So this is one thing which is very important. We must keep on publishing something which is related to the quality education. Anything which is being published somewhere to relate the quality of education, that can also help us as a keywords, and some papers can be improved. Gender equality. Gender equality is again a concern, because at many platforms, gender equality is being talked upon, women empower is being talked upon, and different other aspects are also being talked upon on the gender equality. But still, if we talk about the research and the publications which is coming into the picture, 35,625 publications has been done in the publications period, but only 78.5% are coming from high income, 1.5 from low income, and 17.3% publications are coming from international collaboration. Here, India comes at the 6th positions, which is reasonably good as compared to previous 2 sustainable development goals. Sustainable development goals, clean water and sanitization, which is also require a great work. But here, India is doing lots of activities because the institutions who are at the sea shore area, they are working very closely on the water parts, and many institutions who are working on the field of chemistry, chemical engineering, or somewhere in the purifications, pollutions, environment clearance, they are also closely working for the clean water and sanitations. So this is one aspect where low income collaborations is still, publication from low income locations are still 0.7%, but India is coming a way forward from that part, and we are at the 3rd positions. But if you look at the gap, we are below 4,000, are close to 2,500 publications being done so far. But if you look at that, China and United States, they are more than 10,000 and 12,000 publications done so far. Sustainable Development Goal 7, affordable and clean energy, where we have been ranked top 100 in the world. The Chitkara, I'm talking about the Chitkara University, has been ranked in Sustainable Development Goal in top 100 in the world. So this is what the publications are being done. Here, India is coming at 3rd positions in Sustainable Development Goal 7, which is renewable energy, comes over here in the picture, solar energy, and the publications on the solar systems, improvement of the solar systems. But still, if you look at that part, that many of the institutions are not giving a good importance in that part. So this is also required to be taken care. Decent work and economic goal growth, sustainable development goal number 8. Here, the India is having a position of 6th with 89,498 publications so far. Sustainable Development Goal, industry, innovations, and infrastructure. Here also we have been listed in top 200 in world. 39,114 publications has been done so far. India is having 4th positions by locations into the Sustainable Development Goal 9. Sustainable Development Goal 10, reduced inequalities. 47,227 publications has been done here. And if you look at the positioning of the India in working reduced inequality, it's the 10th positions in by publications. If you look at the publications by locations, though there is a slight increase in the data that people started working, 2019 the data has increased in a better way. Sustainable Development Goal 11, sustainable cities and communities. A good number of publications are being done, where architecture people also publishes and does a good activities. But only 1,41,331 publications has been done so far. India is having 4th positions in this Sustainable Development Goal. Sustainable Development Goal 12, responsible consumption and productions. India is having 4th positions in here also, and a good number of publications are being published with international collaborations. Sustainable Development Goal 13, climate actions. We are having 10th positions working on climate actions. Still a long way to go to work on the climate action, because emission of carbon dioxides and carbon monoxide from many industrial areas, which is a still concern. Delhi and some metro cities are very, very concerned for such kind of activities to work on the climate actions. So this is one thing where researchers come into the picture. They must look into that part, and they must go for contribution to the society, how the society can be contributed. And there is a Sustainable Development Goal, life below water. This is also an aspect where India comes at the 10th positions in the world for the research publications. And fisheries, oil pollutions, marine environment, marine protections, ocean and sea, coast guard. These are the major topics which is being covered in the research publications so far.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Actually, time. Next.
That's what I was trying to ask in between to you, because before I started, I was trying to connect with you. No problem. Give me another 1 minute. I'll finish it.
Okay, sir. No problem, sir. No problem.
So, Sustainable Development Goal 15, life on land. Here, India comes at the 10th positions with 1,11,202 publications. As overall, the publications which I'm showcasing at the top, it is publications on the Sustainable Development Goal throughout the world, across the globe. The publications has been given, and they have been used the keyword of Sustainable Development Goals, either with the name or the keywords being utilized in the name of the Sustainable Development Goal. So SDG 16 is having peace, justice, and strong institutions. Approximately 1,70,000 publications has been done so far, and India is having 6 positions into that, and they are also working very strongly into that. 17, which is very strong Sustainable Development Goal, partnership for the goals. So this entire data we had collected from 2015 to 2019 as output, impact, and the collaborations. So 229 publications has been done into that based on the partnerships. So this is also a major important task which we need to work into. And India is at 8 positions working on that. And a good number of collaborations are being utilized. So this entire data I had taken from ELACS, that is Sustainable Development Goal Resource Center of Elsevier. They had provided this data for the institutions who participate into Times Higher Education's ranking, and to analyze their data and to look into where the improvement can be done upon. So based on this data, we are also being provided the data for individual institutions level data also. If you go with them, they'll provide, and you can map your research publications also related to the Sustainable Development Goal, because in coming futures, every government is going to talk about the Sustainable Development Goal, their outcome, and the research done by the faculty. Thank you so much. Hope I was being able to finish my talk within the time period being specified for me.
Yes, sir.
Since Dr. Garg, you can ask on behalf of the participants, and then we can move forward.
Can I share your mail ID?
No problem. I would love to answer those questions through my mail ID. It is available with you, and if anybody wants to connect with me, they can go on the website chitkara.edu.in. I'm available. I'm also having my email ID. It's krishna.mishra@chitkara.edu.in. Any participants is willing or they require any kind of information related to my talk, they can connect with me. I'm also available on LinkedIn also. So at the LinkedIn, linkedin.in/drmishrakk, Dr. Mishra KK is my ID. You can search upon LinkedIn also. We can connect over there to provide better information.
So I want to ask participants, if there any query, you can ask participants also.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. You have given a lot of information about IRQ process and IR ranking, SSR submission, distribution of metrics and KIS across criteria, ATAL ranking, QS world ranking, QS gauge, world university rankings. Also, you have provided data regarding publications at national level, researchers, number of researchers, number of PhDs, and other data related to education in India. Thank you very much, sir. Very wonderful session, sir. And nice to hear you from, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much for giving the opportunity to speak to the people with very intellectual minds and having a patience.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Join in future also, sir.
Sure. I'll be available. I'll be happy to be the part of the academic institutions to guide something to avail and the information sharing parts also. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Participants, kindly wait for 5 minutes. We will start the next session within 2 to 5 minutes. Don't leave the session. I am also sharing the feedback link in the chat box. Wait for 5 minutes. We will start in the next session.